Right, D-scan, directional scanner. So if it's not visible in your UI when you need to click scanners and when click directional scanner, the hotkey is Alt plus D, and when you open it up for the first time it probably looks as awful as this one, and when you need to undock it from the solar system map, you need to click on open separate window and it will move somewhere more convenient. And now you can start working with it. So what's the point of this scan? Overview shows you the entities on grid, and directional scanner shows you entities outside of your grid within up to 14.4 AU. So it's an invaluable tool to give you situational awareness for the system. For small systems, the D-scan can cover the entire system, and for large system it can be more situational, but in any case it's very valuable. How to use it? So you have two presets. One is range, the other is angle, and you also have filters on what entities to show. I mentioned in the previous video that D-scan repeats the overview filters. It is true, but you can actually override it if you want. I don't recommend doing it, but it's possible. So here it shows the entities that are filtered out according to the combat overview tab. And if I want to change the overview tab, the D-scan will change as well. So now it shows all the loot entities, which is generally just Rex. You can separate filters from overview and filters in D-scan by clicking here, and here you can see it says active overview filters. So D-scan follows the filters on the overview. You may select something else, and in this case, for example, travel, and in this case the directional scanner will show different entities according to the filter that you selected here. I do not recommend doing that, at least consistently, and have a habit of doing that, because what's gonna happen after that is that you will forget to change the filter back to active overview, and you will think that this can shows the same as the overview, so it follows the overview, but it may not. And in this case you may miss something important that appears in D-scan, that should appear in D-scan according to the overview settings, but it will not because you filtered it out with a custom filter. But if you need to, you can do it. Next, so you have two settings. Let's go to the solar system map. So I'm around this asteroid belt, and right now my D-scan shows all the entities that are within this sphere, and this sphere has a radius of 14.4 AU, and it covers all 360 degrees. So I may play with these two settings. I may reduce the range, and in this case you can see that the radius of a sphere changes. So when is that useful? For example, it's useful when you are in some gated complex and you just want to see what's happening outside. For example, here I may want to see just what's going on the undock of this Asbel and nothing else. And I will make this very small. And since the radius is very small, it will only show me what's going on around these objects and nothing else. And you can easily tell what objects are included and what objects are excluded by these red circles around the objects. So this circle means that this object is included in discount results. And for example, this one does not have this red circle, and it means that this object is out of range of discount, and this one as well. So it's almost 17 AU, and discount only covers 14. Now you can also change the angle of a discount. This is useful when you want to see what's going on around specific objects in space. For example, I want to check what's going on in the contested Gallente outpost. And now, since I have only 5 degrees discount, it shows me what's going on around only these objects. So this Navy Myrmidon can be, and probably here at the contested Gallente skeleton, but it can also be on the moon or on the planet or in the asteroid belt, because all of these objects are included in the discount. And if I want to check, for example, Deltolis 7, I go here, and now these 3 objects are included in discount. So the main use for short angle discount is to check what's going on at the specific entity or the specific planet in system. Now, how do you change the direction of a discount? Important that discount follows your camera. It does not follow where your ship is pointed. So my ship is pointed at Deltolis 3, but my discount is pointed at Deltolis 5 right now. So it doesn't follow the camera. It follows the camera, it doesn't follow the ship. If you want to quickly check the object, then you can do it in one of 2 ways. The first way that I personally prefer is the tracking camera. So I click the hotkey for tracking. I think by default it's C, and you can see the UI tells me click the target to track. And for example, I want to track this gate, and the camera will turn towards this gate, and after that I can simply click on another hotkey for directional scan hotkey, and it will immediately tell me what's going on there. So if you set up the hotkeys correctly and you get used to using them, it's actually extremely fast to scan anything. For example, I want to scan what's going on at the sun. Takes a second. I want to scan what's going on at the station. Takes a second. It's as simple as that. If you don't like this technique, you can turn on tracking camera. The default hotkey is Shift plus C, and you will see here that the auto tracking is toggled. Shift plus C is the hotkey. Now every time you will click on something, the camera will point towards this object automatically. So you can see now I'm not clicking track camera. I'm not clicking track camera, but I click on the object in space and the camera turns automatically. And I want to click, for example, I want to check here, camera turns automatically. I'm not clicking the tracking. This looks a bit more convenient, but it actually can mess up your on-grid positioning a bit. Because, for example, let's say you click on some object on grid and the camera starts tracking this object. And this is generally not what you want, on grid at least. So I personally prefer to turn off the tracking camera and only use the tracking hotkey. Okay. Now, I think one final thing here is how to use different presets for the discount and get some important information out of that. For example, you may want to check a specific point in space and you will find a ship there. And you may get additional information by changing some of the presets. For example, if it's a PvE ship, is it under post shield maybe, or is it actually doing some anomaly? You can see it by checking the loot, for example, and if this ship is doing some anomaly, then it's likely that you will see a lot of wrecks as well. You can also temporarily add drones to the overview, and then you will be able to see if ships have drones out or a specific ship has drones out. This is useful when you are scanning for ships in the faction warfare complex, and you may want to quickly check if we are fighting or if we're idle or anything, what's going on basically there. And you can check if we have drones out and if you have wrecks inside the complex. For example, here I'm scanning, this is probably an asteroid belt, and I can see a couple of mining ships. And since I added drones to the overview, I can also see that these ships have drones out. And if I remove it from the overview, I can only see the ships. So this is, occasionally it's useful, at least it's useful to know. And one final thing that I won't be able to actually show you, so I can just talk about it, is the directional scan towards anomalies. So it's not that useful in faction warfare because the majority of stuff that you're interested in is on your overview usually, like faction warfare complexes. But in nullsec this technique is quite useful. So if you set your directional scan to max range and minimum angle, and here imagine that you have a bunch of writing anomalies, and if you click track the anomaly, you click tracking hotkey, and when you click on anomaly, the directional scan will actually immediately show you what's going on at this anomaly. So you don't need to find it like here with a manual camera. You just open prop scanner, and then you just click the tracking hotkey, and then you just click on all the anomalies, and directional scanner will show you what's going on at these anomalies. And after that, you can, if you want, you can check if there are some drones out and if there are any wrecks in addition to the ship. So this can be useful to locate where was the Russian ship if he bailed before you managed to tackle him. Okay, I hope you found it useful. Directional scanner is very crucial tool in faction warfare. And in the next one, I think we will talk about how to read and how to make conclusions out of your combat log. So see you there.